At the time when time itself began, Al-Kuntam created the forefathers, who ruled over all mankind. The fathers were asked in what form they wished to be when they descended to earth. The house's walls were lined with the cloaks of animals and birds, and each forefather was invited to make his choice. One, by the name of Kaliakes, chose that of the raven, and once he had donned the garment, he then became said raven. He slowly circled down to earth in spirals, carrying with him his younger siblings, 2 brothers and his sister, all as ravens. He set his brothers down atop a mountain near Snud-Ali and stated, "I am going to the east, but will return." He brought them some abalone shells, which he set in front of the diminutive ravens and said, "Stay here. I am going to the west, but will return." He then returned again, but this time with copper that shone in the sun. Kaliakes and his brothers then assumed their human forms and sent their cloaks back above. This is what happened with all the forms of the first people. The 3 descended the mountain and built a house near the Bella Kula River, the spot which is now known as Snud-Ali. Kaliakes had brought down with them a mountain goat, which bred with great rapidity once set at liberty. And the first people of Snud-Ali lived largely on the flesh of these goats, which were the provision given to them by Al-Kuntam. In an explicit manner, the supernatural hunter named both Twaulet and Lelemkilla, the one who throws down, had come with his group and given this Kaliakes had with his hunt, he was able to give a potlatch and bestow upon them valuable gifts of goat meat, goat grease, and woolen blankets. At this great ceremony, he bestowed upon himself the cis oak name, Laltelyumdimit, meaning the copper one, as on his return from the west, the raven covered himself in the copper he had brought, making it seem as though he was made of it. During his lifetime, although unknown whether before or after the great potlatch, Kaliakes was determined to gain the light for mankind, as the time was semi-dark, faintly illuminated by the pale moonlight. He had recalled seeing the sun in Al-Kuntam's house enclosed in a sack, and he decided to steal it. He again resumed his raven form and flew back above. He snuck into the house, unnoticed as a grain of dust, and placed himself in a cup, of which Al-Kuntam's daughter was about to drink. Though noticing the speck of dust, she blew it away. He then changed to a hemlock needle, which she plucked from the surface of the liquid. Undiscouraged, Raven then became mud, which she drank down, and he entered her body. 6 Mena was then surprised to find herself pregnant, as was her father. In the course of time, a boy was born, really being Raven, though she did not know it was him. He grew extremely quickly, and within a short time frame, that of only a few weeks, was crawling around and crying for playthings. Though whatever he was given by his mother or grandmother, he would throw it aside after a short time and began to cry even more. He was a fractious child. Raven pretended to look up and noticed the sun for the first time, gleaming dimly from its bag as it hung from the roof of his grandfather's house. He cried and cried, nearly choking himself in his tantrum, and given nothing would satisfy him, at last his indulgent father gave him the shining object as a final attempt. Being sure to pad the floor with bark beforehand, Raven softly rolled the ball for a short time, but as soon as the door was opened, he crawled outside, bringing with him the sun, bursting its container against the doorpost and assuming his raven form. Once more, he flew away, croaking in triumph. Thus mankind received the boon of sunlight, and Raven again flew back to earth and became Kaliakes.